Hello and welcome back to Bookish and welcome back to Saturday Hodgepodge. This one I'm actually filming on Saturday. Zelda's joining us. Oftentimes I pre-video my Saturday Hodgepodge so I can get it up on the YouTubes as early as possible Saturday morning. But I didn't do that yesterday, so it is actually Saturday morning. You can see me in all my 6:30 a.m. glory here on Saturday. The sun just coming up here, and the sun comes up on that side of my house. So this side is still a little bit dark and gray, so I'm kind of trying to use a lamp to create lighting. Sorry, I look more ghoulish than normal today in my video. So, in Hodgepodge, I just talk about things bookish. This week, since I made a wrap-up TBR video, which I put up on Thursday, there'll be less of that kind of thing. So there are a couple of things I want to talk about today. Number one, I'm really excited. Today's February the 1st, and I'm going to start my BookTube prize reading. I've been looking forward to this since I signed up to be a judge. I am judging nonfiction this round, but I believe one of the rounds, I can't remember if I told Robert that I would do whatever he needed me to do, or if I picked specifically rounds, but I was excited because I'm judging nonfiction. This round, of course, I can't tell you which group I'm judging, but I'll leave a link to Robert's video when he announces the books, both the nonfiction and the fiction books that are up for the BookTube prize this year. And like I said, I'm looking forward to have a lot of fun, but I am a little worried about how my BookTube prize reading will affect my other reading, because there's some pretty big books in there, and I'm not a particularly fast reader, so I've kind of cut back my normal reading plans to make room for BookTube prize reading. And then one reason why that's on my mind is that last year, before I decided to do the BookTube prize judging, I had said to myself that I was going to read at least maybe the short list of the books nominated for the Republic of Consciousness prize. And you may not be aware of this prize, but a lot of people here on BookTube, I think, are. It's a prize run out of I can't remember which English university it's run out of, which essentially gives an award to the publisher of books. These are publishers, I think, who have fewer than 8 total employees. So it's basically designed to give a prize to small presses that publish good books. And so that's one of those things that I really liked. I guess I'm going to call him a former booktuber. Neil Griffiths was involved with the Republic of Consciousness Prize. I wish he'd come back and do videos because I really enjoyed hearing his take on books. But that's where I learned about it. So this year the long list is up, and I'll leave a link to the Republic of Consciousness Prize website down below. But since I was doing BookTube judging, I didn't think I'd be able maybe to fit all of the books. I think there might be 12 books on the long list. I didn't think I could fit all the long list books on, so I just went through the list. I picked out 3 books that to me were sounded most like something I'd like to read. So one of those books is We Are Made of Diamond Stuff by Isabel Waldner, and I'll just read you the back. We Are Made of Diamond Stuff is an innovative and critically British novel taking issue with the dream of national belonging. Set on the Isle of Wight, a small island off the coast of England, it collides literary aesthetics with contemporary working-class cultures and attitudes. Works with themes of empire, embodiment, and resistance, and interrogates autobiographical material, including the queer migrant experience. Well, that sounds like a whole lot of stuff, which appeals to me. Class, conflict, literary stuff. It's just, I read the blurb on the Republic of Consciousness Prize, and I decided to buy that. I really like that cover, even though I have no idea what's going on. There's a leg, some crystals, a polar bear. It looks like a island sunset. Anyway, so that was one of the 3 Republic of Consciousness books I bought. Then I chose this one also, called Leonard and Hungry Paul. I like the, I think that's a bonito fish on the front. You may know that I have a fishing channel. I enjoy fishing. So I like the fish in the front. Just sometimes we buy books for silly reasons. Heck yes. But also I read kind of the blurb on the back. And so it says, Leonard and Hungry Paul are 2 quiet friends who see the world differently. They use humor, board games, and silence to steer their way through the maelstrom that is the 21st century. Well, that sounded kind of cool to me. I like the board games, and I love this book. I love this book physically, and the really cool, kind of really simple orange cover. Oh, by the way, let's see. We Are Made of Diamond Stuff. It's published by Dostoevsky Wannabe Originals. And Leonard and Hungry Paul, sorry, is published by the Blue Moose Books. And then the third book I chose, did I mention the author? The author of this is, I'm going to say Ronan Hessian, even though I'm pretty sure I mispronounced the first name. And then the third book I bought was called The Red Word by Sarah Henstra. And just to read you a little bit about that book, it says consent, rape, culture, the male gaze, sex positivity. The Red Word asks a bold question. What if women weren't content to wait for the next assault to take action? Zelda, let me read. What if they got tired? Stop bumping me. What if they got tired of his word against hers, set against the sex wars of the 90s and the birth of third-wave feminism? The result is a smart, dark, take-no-prisoners look at the extremes to which ideology can go. I also happen to know that this is a campus novel. I'm kind of a sucker for campus novels. This book, though, was published by, let's see, it's published by Black Cat, which is an imprint, I believe, of Grove, and so not exactly sure how that qualifies, but I don't run the Republican Conscience Prize. I'm going to trust them that is in fact a small press. Anyway, so those are the three books I chose for the Republican Conscience Prize, and I'm going to get to those books sometime this year, but they came in, and it seemed like a good part of the hodgepodge here. This is also, as you're aware, this is probably where this is Black History Month. I'm not technically going to be participating in Read Soul Lit or in the Blackathon, but I am intentionally reading books exclusively by African American authors this month. I may have a video up about sometime this month from a non-African American author, but this month that's what I'm reading. I'm lucky enough that my BookTube prize reading allows me to do that as well. And one of the books I think I announced in my TBR video on Thursday that I'm reading Another Country by James Baldwin. You know I love James Baldwin. This is a buddy read with the awesome Sean the Book Maniac. And in thinking about that, I was just kind of browsing around in my Amazon Prime Video account, and I saw that the James Baldwin documentary was there. That documentary is titled I Am Not Your Negro, which I watched immediately because I love hearing James Baldwin's voice. I love trying to understand James Baldwin's thoughts, and I really love the perspective it took, in which it kind of shows the different approaches to the civil rights movement in the 1960s taken by Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., and then Baldwin himself, who was, an important figure in the civil rights movement as a spokesperson and a sometimes guest on television and in his writing during the time period. If you like James Baldwin, if you are interested in the civil rights movement and you have access to the Amazon Prime video streaming service, I would highly recommend watching I'm Not Your Negro, because I thought it was just really kind of amazing and interesting and, different in some ways. Anyway, so there was that. So in last week's BookTube, I posed a question. I asked how many of you read the comment section on other people's videos, and confessed that I rarely do. That's just not something I ever thought about doing. And the overwhelming consensus is that I'm doing BookTube wrong. No, everybody was really nice, but the overwhelming consensus is that I'm doing BookTube wrong, and that other people at least glance at the comments left by others on the videos of others. So I'm going to start trying to do that. I'll be honest with you. Partly, I think my reluctance at this point is a time crunch issue, but also, as I think someone else said in a comment on mine, that one of the things that concerns me is getting angry at the comments of others. I don't think I've been particularly angry at any comment on my channel, my videos, but that's because I'm pretty relaxed when it comes to people perhaps being rude or attacking me, but I'm not really all that relaxed when people being rude and attacking my friends or my family. And so I am often worried that if I read the comments, found a mean one about one of you who I love and come to really love through BookTube, that I would not hold back and begin a whole kind of ugly comment war, which I may or may not have done. If you have the misfortune to follow me on Twitter, you know that I am incredibly politically involved and outspoken, and I pretty much use Twitter to vent a lot of my political rage, and I don't want to bring that to the comment section, so I'm going to try to behave myself and yet still check out the comment section. And speaking of controversy things, that my BookTube topic today has to do with the book American Dirt. You may already be tired of this American Dirt controversy. If you don't know what it is, you can just Google, I imagine American Dirt controversy and find out about it. Now, a couple of things before I go on. I have not read American Dirt. I don't really have any plans to read American Dirt. And I'm not exactly sure of all the reasons why some people seem to be upset. But essentially, there seems to be, what seems to be at the heart of the controversy is the idea of cultural appropriation. That the author of this book has kind of appropriated the immigrant experience of people trying to escape from criminal activity and violence in Mexico or Central America by crossing the United States border by taking a train, and that the author has done this somewhat in stereotypical fashion. The author herself is not Hispanic, not a Latinx author, and then, as if that might not be, problematic enough for some people, her publisher really seems to have, just laid an egg on the issue by, decorating tables at a dinner with, barbed wire and kind of appropriating that image to promote the book. Apparently they were misleading about the author's husband and whether or not he is an illegal immigrant. In fact, he's from Ireland, he may or may not be here on a visa. But there's a lot of controversy around the book. And what interests me about it is not all that, and not about voicing my opinion. By the way, Karl Anderson did an awesome video on this recently, and I'll leave a link to that down below, even though I'm relatively sure if you subscribe to my channel, you've all seen it. But my question is, and something I'm interested in seeing people comment on in my comment section is it cultural appropriation for, in this case, a white author to write about a Latinx or a Hispanic topic? Are we comfortable with that? Is that something that's okay? Is it the book itself, or is it the marketing that's, you think, is at the heart of the problem here? And I'll just go ahead and give you my opinion. My opinion is always to err on the side of letting anybody publish anything they can get published. I don't think we should just automatically assume that if, in this case, a white writer writes about an issue facing minority Americans, that it's inherently bad or inherently wrong. I do think that author has an incredible responsibility to do as much research and to learn as much as they can, and to try to avoid stereotypes in their portrayals in the book. I will tell you, I'm not a fiction writer, and maybe it's because the writing I have done has mostly been nonfiction, but I kind of err on the side of, write what you know. Now, and importantly, you can write what you know by doing research. You don't have to necessarily have lived that experience. I wasn't an American soldier in the Pacific Theater during World War II, but that's one of the things I'm writing about. But you have to do a lot of research, and you have to, I think, be very careful with the portrayals. And even though, while I haven't read the book, and by the way, neither have a lot of the celebrity endorsers, there does seem to be some question about whether or not the author here relies on stereotypes. Anyway, that's kind of a rambling thing. I'm just interested in that, that kind of topic. Is that cultural appropriation, or is that just artistic license to write about some experience that is not necessarily part of your community's experience? Anyway, that's one of those things that interests me. If you feel like commenting on it, or if you have thoughts, or if you think that I, did that really badly, please let me know. Anyway, that's my Saturday hodgepodge for the day. Hope you all have a good Saturday, good weekend. Look forward to your comments in the comment section below, and as always, thank you for watching.